the end of it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? Do some layering?
Yeah,
we could
let's
do
do that. We'll bring it out in a
with
minute for sure.
Do you know,
Tell
that's
us
one of
about
the,
this.
yeah, this is one of the great things that
everywhere.
we can start to do is layer with these pieces. But right now, as we start to get in those change of seasons, this is the ideal item that we look to that's got a little bit of warmth to it because there's that little bit of polyfill in there, but there's also a lightweight nature to it, which is what quilts and coverlets are known for.
Springtime perfect.
Yeah, isn't it? This is the time where we get a little bit of that itch. It's still a little cold at night, but during the day that temperature's coming up and you feel how warm the sun is. So we're ready to make changes. This is what you need in your room to make that change, to bring in a little bit of that springtime flowers, to be able to bring in, now the grass is just starting to peek through a little bit. This is what we love to change things around. So from Cozelle, our very own brand here, this is going to be a microfiber on either side, and then you're going to have binding that goes all the way around that outer edge, which really supports the coverlet or quilt. That's where it takes its most amount of wear, so you want that big binding to go all the way around the edge. You wash this, you dry it. It's simple, it's easy, and it just has such a sharp look. And if you happen to pick up on the pink sheets, what a perfect little match you have here between the two. You're going to get the two shams to go along with it. One side is the quilted side, and the other side is just going to have that envelope style, but it's still going to have the print. So if you get a little schmutchy here,
you got a second chance.
yeah, second chance. You bet you do.
And you got a second chance on this, too, because it reverses to the same great fabric. So, you know what? Yep, something happens to one side, you've got it all over again. Want to share these with you, too, because for those of you who want to do some one-stop shopping, that could be a good choice. Nothing like the pink, though.
Yeah, the pink was ideal.
The pink in the 500 thread count sheets is ideal. You could work in the gray. There's a little bit of a gray color.
Yeah, there's a little
in
dove
the
gray in there that works.
The blue would be a nice complement, not an exact match, but keep that in mind for this, because I know you're looking to complete a bedroom. You don't want to have any loose ends. We've got the sheets that go.
Well, and you know what? One of the other great things about this, Brian, is do you notice how it really creates a very tailored look? So even in through the front here, and I know that in this case they're calling it a quilt, not a big difference between a coverlet. It's meant to cover just the top of the bed. A bedspread goes all the way to the floor. This covers just the top. But when you look at this, you can see how it creates that very tailored, very clean, very simple look. And this is the easiest bed to make, is with a quilt.
No kidding.
Because everything comes up to the top, and then you pull that quilt up and fold it over, and boom, 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 you're done.
How do we launder?
Just wash dry. All of our Cozelle items come with care instructions directly from the manufacturer. So I just went through this talk with one of our manufacturers, and I said, you know, there are still some people who believe we have to do hot water washes with linens. And they said times have changed. Machines have changed. Laundry detergent has changed. There's more cleaning power between the two. So you can now do cold water wash. You can tumble dry, medium or low. And you know with Cozelle items, it's so simple. You pull those out of the dryer, put them on the bed, and that's it. So the key thing here is you call this a little bit of a periwinkle. And I thought it's like a slate blue.
Yeah, that's even better.
Okay, so like a little bit of a slate blue. There's a mustard color in there. There's a little bit of pink and teal and that dove gray. So all colors that you can play off of. And the other nice thing is the blankets that we're going to have coming up in just a moment, the most loved blanket.
Why don't you go grab the blush?
I'm going to have Henry do that because they've got it rigged.
To fall?
And I will probably take down the whole display if I grab that.
Oh,
Thank
you should have been with
Henry.
me the other day on the flatware show.
Did you know? What did you do?
What do you think?
No, you didn't.
Yep.
No.
As if I took the whole drawer and just dumped it. I was like,
now that's good live TV, right?
You can dress me up a little bit, but you can't take me anywhere.
There you go. Here's your sign.
Okay, blush. We have how many left in the king?
We're going to bring it
5 dozen left in the king size only. So if you are ordering the king size, this is one of the choices. And that, oh man, Laura, look at this.
Yeah, look at what a great bed. Well, not the front. That doesn't look very good. Let's fix this.
On my end,
let's do it a different way. Yes, it's your end that's all screwed up.
Of course.
Let's curl this
ladies,
in.
just be prepared.
Curl in, curl. There you go. And we're going to flip.
Okay. Oh.
There you go. Right there. All right. Much better. Much better. There you go. Yeah, don't touch it. Back away, back away, back away. Good, Brian.
Thank you.
Now it's finished off. But see how simple it is? And we're going to have the blankets coming up. They're available in the blush, that could go along with this.
$19.99 if you're
And
just
the
running
gray.
us on the TV.
Yeah, and the gray could go with this very well. The
light
powder
blue.
blue, you may be
Yeah.
able to get away with. But how nice, and this is why quilts now, you know, years ago, probably in the 40s, 50s, quilts were very big. Then it kind of fell out of fashion a little bit. Then there was a resurgence in the early 80s. Then it fell out of fashion again. Quilts are back, and they're bigger than ever, and they've been that way for several years. They're not going anywhere because we're finding more and more ways to use these, not only on the bed. Do you summer picnic? Do you go to concerts in the park? You take
Ravinia.
this,
Yeah.
and you lay it down, and you put your wine and your cheese and your fruit. You get a little schmutzy once again. You wash this, you dry it. So you can use it on the top of the bed, but there's many other reasons. Do you have grandkids that come over, little toddlers? You want to put this down on the living room floor and have them play, and the toys and the Cheerios and all the other things that come along with that little toddler. Then when they go home, you wash this, you dry it, get ready for the next visit.
Yeah. And it's all items that are on sale, but to be used right now. It's different if we were just selling things that you'd only use in the coldest of winter months. We're getting you ready for what's coming up. So that's all the more exciting. You don't have to wait a year to use it. This is something you can use and put on the bed the day it arrives. And it's just a couple days away. But we don't know where you live until you call. So give us a phone call or go online to evine.com and we will send this to you. We've got sizing for everybody. And of course you get the matching shams included. So we have a full queen size in this quilt offering. 86 by 86, and in the king size, the measurements on the quilt is 86 by 101. And yeah, quilts have always been coveted. My aunt has always made quilts for everybody in the family. And when I was a kid, my mother would drag me and my brothers. My grandmother, she'd be in on it too. She was complicit. We would go to the quilt bingos.
Quilt bingo?
And you almost called child services because my mom would literally be like, "You're on it." Boom, 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 boom. Like 9 cards a kid. She was in it to win it.
So what is quilt? Well, you got to tell us what quilt bingo is to begin with.
You win the game, you go home with a quilt that somebody handmade. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we have won before.
Have you really?
But yeah.
Oh my God, that's a ball.
I know.
What a good time.
Well,
so did you manage the 9?
Yes, all of us. It was as if dinner depended on it. My mom was coming home with a quilt, at least one. So, but that's just, again, a story about how much quilts mean to people. Family quilts, it means all about tradition. Laying across a quilt like this in the summer, it'd probably have any of your guests or maybe you feel like you're back when you were a kid, taking a nap in the middle of the summer when you were over at the grandma's house. That's how it was. I'd wake up and I'd have the quilt vermicelli pattern or the chenille pattern all on my face. It's like,
because it feels good.
It feels like you're back home, like you're a kid again.
But that's really, when you think about quilts, that was grandma made a quilt and it lasted forever and was handed down during generations.
Yeah.
That's why bed and breakfasts are so big and they feel so comfortable. It's because of quilts, right?
You got it. 477-668. Quantity is on your screen. Clearance price meaning